Spain's real estate industry does not want you to see this video because the 10 towns I'm about to show you make every overpriced flat in Barcelona look like a financial mistake, and every glossy retirement brochure look like it left out the good stuff on purpose. You already know about the Costa del Sol and Valencia's beaches. This is not that video. This is the version nobody talks about. A stone townhouse that costs less than a used pickup truck. Neighbors who actually know your name. Not a resort complex with a concierge desk and a monthly fee. Not paying $2,000 a month to live near a coastline you'll actually visit twice a year, if that. I spent months driving through the Spain locals call España Vaciada, empty Spain, the provinces everyone flew over on the way to the coast. And what I found were towns where $2,500 a month isn't just comfortable, it's genuinely more than you'll know what to do with, and where the food alone justifies the trip. A Roman walled city where rent runs 600 euros. A university town at over 3,000 feet where snow falls every winter. A medieval city so perfectly preserved that HBO filmed a hit show there without changing much. An olive country capital surrounded by more groves than anywhere else on the planet. Hit subscribe right now because we're counting down 10 Spanish towns the retirement industry hopes you never discover. And stick around because there's a visa number near the end that most retirement channels conveniently leave out. Number 10. Teruel. Teruel is the unofficial capital of empty Spain, and it wears that title with pride. This is a province so sparsely populated that villages nearby have literally offered people free rent and cash to move in and keep the local school open. A 90 square meter apartment rents for around 640 euros, roughly 40% below the national average, and that's for the provincial capital, not even one of the villages running incentive programs. The quirky hook, Teruel is famous for jamun, Spain's prized cured ham, and for a genuinely bizarre local tradition where nearby villages compete for who can attract the most new residents with cash incentives, discounted rent, and even free plots of land. You'll thrive here on some of the lowest taxes and service costs in the entire country, striking mudéjar architecture nobody talks about, truffle hunting in the surrounding hills, and a level of quiet that writers and artists specifically move here to find. Caveat: winters are crisp and cold, and this is a place for people who genuinely want silence, not a backup plan for people who need constant activity nearby. Number 9. Soria. Soria sits in the hills of Castile and Leon, and it might be the least discussed provincial capital in Spain, which is exactly the point. Property here runs among the cheapest in the country, and a comfortable single life costs well under $2,000 monthly, with rentals starting well below what you would pay in even mid-sized Spanish cities. The quirky fact, this region inspired some of Spain's most famous poetry. The writer Antonio Machado lived and taught here in the early 1900s, and the surrounding pine forests and river valleys along the Duero look more like Central Europe than the Spain of postcards, especially once the leaves turn in autumn. You will thrive here if you want nature, fresh mountain air, and a genuine sense of tradition that has not been packaged for tourists at all, with truffle and mushroom foraging a genuine local pastime rather than a marketing gimmick. Caveat: It is remote, even by empty Spain standards, so plan on a car and a longer drive for specialist medical care, since Soria is one of the least populated provinces in the entire European Union. Number 8. Zamora. Zamora sits on the Douro River, and its cost of living runs 10 to 12% below the Spanish national average, making it one of the most consistently affordable provincial capitals in the country year after year. Rental prices here are some of the lowest of any city its size, and property purchase prices sit well below the national median too. The quirky hook, Zamora has more Romanesque churches per capita than almost anywhere in Europe, more than 20 of them within the old city walls alone, earning it the nickname the Museum of Romanesque Art, and the Holy Week processions here are considered among the most solemn and historically important in all of Spain. You'll thrive here on that architecture, a slower Castilian pace of life, genuinely good river trout and roast dishes, and value on both rent and property that's hard to find closer to the coasts. Caveat: like most of this list, English is not widely spoken outside tourist sites, so functional Spanish makes daily life considerably easier. Now, if you're enjoying this countdown and you haven't hit subscribe yet, now's a great time, because the next entries get progressively better, the architecture gets more dramatic, and there's a visa reality check waiting for you near the top of this list that changes how you should think about every number I've given you so far. Number 7. Jaén. Jaén sits in the heart of Andalusia's olive country, surrounded by more olive groves than anywhere else on earth, and it's one of the most affordable cities in southern Spain. Apartments in the city center rent for under 550 euros, and you can find plenty of options even lower a short walk further out. The quirky fact: Jaén province produces roughly a fifth of the world's olive oil, and if you drive out from the city in any direction, you'll see nothing but silver-green groves rolling to the horizon as far as you can see. An ocean of trees that's been harvested the same way for centuries, with an entire museum in the city dedicated to nothing but olive oil culture. You'll thrive here on genuine Andalusian culture, warm weather, free tapas with every drink at most local bars, mountain views from the hilltop Parador, and Spanish sunshine without the Costa del Sol price tag. Caveat: it's inland, so summer heat runs higher than the coast, and there's less of an established foreign community to plug into right away compared to Malaga or Alicante. Number 6. Lugo. Lugo is one of the cheapest cities to live in all of Spain, and its main claim to fame is one you can literally walk on top of: a completely intact Roman wall, over 1.5 miles around, that still fully encircles the old city and dates back nearly 2,000 years. You can live comfortably here on around $900 a month, among the lowest full monthly budgets on this entire list. The quirky hook, Lugo's Wall, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the annual Arde Lucas Festival turns the entire old town into a recreated Roman and Celtic settlement for a weekend every June, complete with gladiator fights and period costume down every street. You'll thrive here on a cooler, greener climate than most of Spain, genuine Galician seafood at prices that would make a coastal American blush, hearty stews built for rainy afternoons, and costs that are hard to beat anywhere in Western Europe. Caveat: Galicia's weather leans rainy and mild rather than sunny, so this isn't the pick if year-round sunshine is the priority. Number 5. Cordoba. Cordoba might be the best value in all of Spain, a genuine UNESCO World Heritage City with a Roman bridge, a medieval Jewish quarter of whitewashed alleys and flower-filled courtyards, and the Mezquita, one of the most extraordinary buildings in the world, a mosque-turned cathedral with more than 800 columns stretching in every direction. Rents here start around $450 for a one-bedroom, genuinely competitive with towns half its size. The quirky fact, Cordoba was once the largest city in Western Europe under Moorish rule, home to libraries holding hundreds of thousands of manuscripts at a time when most of the continent could not read at all, and the city's famous flower-filled patios still open to the public every May for a festival that has been running since the 20s. You will thrive here on architecture most cities cannot compete with, real Andalusian food culture, orange tree-lined streets in the historic quarter, and genuinely comfortable retirement math on $2,500 a month with room to spare. Caveat: summer heat in the low 90s and higher is real here, some of the hottest in mainland Spain, and air conditioning is worth budgeting for from day one. If you have made it this far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach other people quietly doing the math on their own retirement instead of just dreaming about it. Number 4. Logroño. Logroño is the capital of La Rioja, Spain's most famous wine region, and it somehow stays completely off the American retirement radar, despite genuinely excellent infrastructure, safe streets, and a walkable, compact old town packed with Pintxo bars. The quirky hook: this city sits directly on the Camino de Santiago, so pilgrims from all over the world pass through daily with their backpacks and walking sticks, and the surrounding vineyards produce some of the best wine in the country at a fraction of what you would pay for the label back home, often just a few euros a bottle at the source. You will thrive here on tapas culture, easy access to the Camino for hiking whenever you want a day trip, world-class wineries you can visit in an afternoon, and a genuinely high quality of life that Spaniards themselves rate highly, even though foreigners rarely mention it. Caveat: this is a wine and food town more than a beach town, so a car helps for exploring the surrounding wine country properly and reaching the wider region's attractions. Number 3. Segovia. Segovia is close enough to Madrid for weekend trips, about an hour by high-speed train, but far enough to have its own completely different rhythm, its own fairy tale castle, and its own dramatically lower cost of living than the capital. The quirky fact: Segovia's Roman aqueduct is nearly 2,000 years old, still standing without a single drop of mortar holding the granite blocks together, and it runs directly through the middle of the modern city as a functioning, walkable landmark that locals pass under on the way to buy groceries. You'll thrive here on that same Roman engineering serving as your daily backdrop: a walled old town, a hilltop castle said to have inspired Walt Disney, cobblestone streets lined with cafes, and genuinely excellent roast lamb that people drive in from Madrid just to eat. Caveat: being this close to Madrid means Segovia's property prices run a bit higher than the rest of this list, so it's relatively, not absolutely, cheap. Number 2. Avila. Avila is ringed by a complete medieval city wall, 9 gates and 88 towers, still fully intact after nearly 1,000 years, and walking the top of it at sunset is one of those experiences that photos genuinely undersell. Property here runs among the most affordable of any historic Spanish city, with plenty of stock inside those very walls if you want to actually live inside a monument. The quirky hook, Avila is the birthplace of Saint Teresa, one of the most influential mystics in Christian history, and convents and churches connected to her life fill the old town, drawing a steady trickle of pilgrims and scholars rather than mass tourism. You'll thrive here on fresh mountain air, historical depth most cities can't touch, quiet plazas without a hint of over-tourism, and a genuinely slow-paced life that still puts you close to Madrid, about 90 minutes by train, when you want it. Caveat: at over 3,500 feet, one of the highest provincial capitals in Spain, winters bring real cold, so this is another 4-season pick, not a year-round beach substitute. Number 1. Cáceres in Extremadura. Cáceres tops this list because it delivers the single best combination on the entire countdown, a genuine UNESCO World Heritage old town, storks nesting on medieval towers, and Extremadura's rock-bottom property prices, averaging right around 1,000 to 1,100 euros per square meter, some of the cheapest in mainland Spain, cheaper even than most of the towns already on this list. A comfortable single life here runs well under $2,500. That's comfortable almost anywhere outside Madrid or Barcelona, often closer to 1,500 to 1,800 once rent, food, and healthcare are all accounted for. The quirky fact: Cáceres' old town is so perfectly preserved, walls, towers, palaces, cobblestone plazas, that HBO filmed parts of Game of Thrones here without changing much of anything, and the historic center still has almost no modern buildings breaking up the medieval skyline at all. You'll thrive here on that skyline, warm Extremaduran summers, genuinely friendly locals who aren't jaded by mass tourism, hearty regional cooking built around local pork and cheese, and the lowest cost of living of any provincial capital on this entire list. The honest caveat, and it's the same one for every town on this countdown: Extremadura is landlocked and rural, bordering Portugal rather than the sea. So this is a pick for people who want authentic, unhurried Spain, not beach access. Now here's the number every one of these towns has been quietly building toward, and it's the part most retirement channels leave out entirely. Every town on this list is genuinely, provably cheap. $2,500 a month is comfortable, often generous, almost anywhere outside Madrid and Barcelona. But Spain's non-lucrative visa, the standard path for American retirees who want to live here without working, requires proof of about 2,400 euros a month in passive income, roughly $2,800 at current exchange rates for the main applicant alone, plus private health insurance with no co-pays and no cap on coverage. That's not a cost of living number. It's an income floor set by the Spanish government, and it sits noticeably above what these towns actually require you to spend to live comfortably. So the honest angle here isn't that Spain is cheap, it's that the towns are cheap, and the visa income requirement is the real gate you need to clear first, regardless of how modestly you'd actually live once you're through the door. and no amount of frugal living in Teruel or Zamora lowers that consulate paperwork requirement by a single euro. Bring dependents, and each one adds roughly 600 euros a month to that threshold, so a retired couple should plan on closer to 3,000 euros combined. 2 more things before you start packing. Medicare does not follow you to Spain, not for a single day, so private health insurance meeting the visa's no copay standard is not optional. It's a legal requirement of the residency itself, typically running 50 to 200 euros a month depending on your age and pre-existing conditions. And American retirees living in Spain still file a tax return with the IRS every year, no matter where the mailing address lands, with a tax treaty between the 2 countries in place to help prevent paying twice on the same income. Though it's worth sitting down with a cross-border advisor before you go rather than after, since pension and Social Security treatment can get complicated fast. These 10 towns aren't on the postcards, and they never made anyone's top 5 list before this one. But each offers what the crowded coasts lost somewhere along the way: real neighbors, real architecture, genuine regional food, nobody's watered down for tourists, and a fixed income that finally gets to breathe instead of just survive, provided you clear that visa number first. Visit before you commit, rent for a full year before you buy anything, and let your own eyes make the final call rather than a brochure written by someone trying to sell you a villa on the coast. I drop videos like this every week, breaking down exactly where your money goes furthest and what nobody tells you about getting there. Subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.